this morning. And then I worked for a little while, and then I felt like a nap. So I took a nap, and then the nap like rejuvenated me again. And so I did
Did you see the card just fly?
Yeah, I did.
That would be our card. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt one more time since we are in recording. Just sharing. This is supposed to be our 11-minute meditation, one card pull, but it is now 12:04 a.m. This is what happens when I think I'm going to try to get to sleep a little early. But anyway, we are here sharing about, as Nick shares about his anxiety of numbness in the fingers. And he was, go ahead and share what you were just sharing, and then we'll get into the card pull.
So I was sharing about how early on in the pandemic, when everything started spiraling out of control, it was a fear of being disconnected from my partner, my job, mainly my partner, but also my job, my other family, my friends, and things that I enjoy. And that was something that I dealt with early on, and then I had to face. And so, these actually, it was funny. These are the meditations this is how they started. These meditations that we're doing.
Yes, exactly.
It started with that, and then that helped sort of me process the fear and then write about it, which I did, which allowed me to deal with it.
Yes, and just so our viewers know who I am, I am Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, which is where our one card comes from. And asking all who are viewing our show in regards to how many of you have experienced perhaps numbness in your fingers, or even for that matter, maybe some stiffness in the knees, tightness in the hips, chronic back pain. These are all symptoms that show up from our emotions, of any form of fear that might show up from not being able to do something we enjoy doing, and the unknown process of when we will be able to do it again. So I invite each and every one of us, each and every one of you, to just take a moment when you are experiencing something that shows up in the body physically, a symptom, so to speak, to take a moment and ask yourself in that moment, what exactly is going on? What are you thinking about? What's the actual circumstance around you? And how is it related to whatever it is you're feeling? And when you really think about it, it's not really rocket scientists, and it's definitely not science. I actually believe it's facts. If you take note of whatever's going on with the body, such as, again, numbness of the fingers. Numbness, when you think about the fingers mean about gripping something, holding on to something. And when we are in this process of in the thought process of having that fear of not being able to connect with somebody, connection means touching. So the same concept of, if chronic back pain shows up, chronic back pain is a symbol of not feeling supported. And with this pandemic we've had over the last, 8 months, 9 months now, Nick?
Yeah, this is now going to be we're month 8.
Is this month 8? I felt like we were already in month 8.
The end of month 8.
Oh, okay, yeah.
8.
Yeah. So being that we've been in this almost the end of 8 months and going into the 9th, and it does not look like it's going to end anytime soon, feeling not supported collectively by universe and even family members can create chronic back pain. And then, of course, the decisions come from the hips and not being really rigid and flexible about what's going on. Sometimes we have to just learn how to say, okay, we can't control what's going on in this moment, so we have to learn how to let it go. But it's easier said than done, and the emotional symptoms can be, again, not being flexible as the knees just grinding and hurting, and the hips getting really tight, and because we're not doing our normal, usual physical activities, we're sitting a lot more than we were before. That would be a combination to the stiffness in the knees and hips as well. So it's interesting that numbness. Now, which hand, by the way, were you experiencing the numbness? Was it both or one?
It was the right hand.
Interesting. I love it. I'll share in a minute.
Yeah, I was running it.
When we think about our energies, masculine and feminine energy, right side of the body represents the masculine.
Hmm.
Left side of the body represents the feminine. But now this does not necessarily mean that it has to actually be the masculine energy of another person. The masculine energy could also be in reference to the action, because the action is masculine where intentions are feminine. So the intention is the feminine energy of the thinking, and the actual doing process is the masculine. So that's another way we can look at it too. Or it can actually be the masculine is the male energy, who in your life, based on male energy, could this be connected to? Whereas if, let's say for you, Nick, if it was on the left hand, who could have been on the feminine energy? But because yours is masculine, it was obviously things relating to yourself, and also, as you mentioned, your partner, and you mentioned your work area as well. But because it was specifically masculine, it was probably more relating to yourself and your partner. Make sense?
Hmm.
Yes. So as I was shuffling the cards, the card just flew out of the deck, and I'm not sure if everybody else got to see that, but it flew out. So our card for today, interesting enough, listen and truth. Listen and truth. So when we think about the word listen, what is it that we need to listen to? Who is it we need to listen to? Do we really need to listen to the radio, the TV, the news? Do we really need to listen to that? Or do we need to listen to our guides? Those little voices in the head that might be guiding you to do something different during this time, where we may have more time in our hands than we can even imagine. But what can we do with the time that we have with our hands? You know, things we would sit back and say in the past, well, if I only had more time, I could do A, B, and C. And I truly believe that the universe definitely listens to each and every one of us. So when we're sitting here speaking about the fact of not having enough time, here it is, the universe has given us the gift of time. So Nick, for you, in this period of the last 8 months, what have you done during this pandemic that if we didn't have a pandemic, you would not have been able to do?
Oh, there's a long list.
What's that?
There's a long list.
All right, give us top 5.
Top 5. Well, going 1 to 5, I would say I started my blog finally and never got a chance to do. I started, even though I haven't posted any yet, I've started my video channel. Started being able to edit those. I've read several books that I've been meaning to read. I my mother and I finally cleaned out the glass cabinets that were dusty for years that we never had a chance to clean. And I reconnected with several old friends and old colleagues.
Interesting. I want to just circle back a minute. You mentioned something about video.
Mm-hmm.
Video what?
I'm putting together a video channel. So a channel of like YouTube videos.
Talk to me about that.
I never really had a chance to do it before because it takes a lot of time to record and edit them. But so when I started doing, and I really started doing it in the summer, but I didn't really get a chance to edit them until now. Just general videos about history, politics, literature, things I'm interested in, TV show reviews. A lot of people do it, but I'm sort of putting my own spin, my own personality on
And
it.
this is based on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, which is interesting because Nick has inspired me to do I think 2 things during this pandemic. One of those things he inspired me to do was to get my blog up and going, because it was something that my astrologer has suggested that I do, probably 3 years ago. And because of the pandemic, I had the opportunity to definitely do that. And also just really adding to my YouTube channel based on my TV show, and then some of the things like here, like our 1111 that's showing up at 12 something. So when coming back to our card, to learn to listen. listening to the insights that come, listening to the spirit guides that show up, listening to, if you are listening to the radio with music, listening to the lyrics that might catch your attention, where you might have heard the song 1,000 times before, and then all of a sudden, for whatever the reasons are, a particular lyric stands out. That's a message. That's a message. It's no coincidence that you heard a song 5 or 10 times prior, and for whatever the reasons are, those are the lyrics that just pop out in your head. There's a message there. Same way when we think about the word listen, take note of numbers that you're seeing, whether it be that 1111, or it be the 444, or it be the 123. All of these are significant messages. 1111, which there's no surprise to why I come here at 1111 most times, is letting us know it's time to make a wish, a very big wish. And it's also double 11. And in numerology, the 11 is a master number, which means the master teacher. And when we see the number 11, it's reminding us that the gateway between the physical and spiritual are so thin that it gives us the ability and connection with our higher self, angels, loved ones, so we can have that communication and get the guidance we're looking for, such as when we meditate. So now the word truth. Truth. And it's so interesting with the energy we are in right now, with Mars going direct, this new moon that we have in Scorpio, and also what else? Oh, and then Mercury that's in Scorpio as well. And Mars is an Aries energy. So between that and those three energies in itself, Mars, Mercury, and the Scorpio, moments of truth may very well show up here. Such as the big word is secrets. If we are holding secrets, those secrets may very well start to reveal themselves. So it is a moment of truth. It's a moment of being truthful to yourself. What is it that you've been telling yourself up until this time, where you're telling yourself a story just to avoid what the actual situation might actually be? So the truth. How are you speaking the truth? Our chakra associated is the solar plexus. Now, when we think about, again, that whole energy about connection, that's our intuition, which comes from the solar plexus. And when we think about, as Nick was mentioning earlier, about his fear and his numbness in his fingers, that's also an indication that the solar plex might be a little stuck because we're not trusting the process. So when fears show up for any of us, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, can we trust this process at this time and let go of the need to know what is going to happen tomorrow? Because in theory, whether we have a pandemic or not, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. None of us. None of us knows what's going to happen in an hour from now. But because we have this pandemic, we're all sitting at edge of like, oh, so when is this going to take place again? When is this going to take place again? We're premeditating and we're missing out on the perfect now and perfect gift. So if we could just trust from our solar plex, trust the process, have faith that we're exactly where we need to be. There is no wrong way about this pandemic. This pandemic is here for a huge purpose. I was reading something, I forget who it was from, someone who's going to be doing some sort of webinar, speaking about this energy and mentioning that this pandemic we have going on, at the end of it, when things start to move forward, we are going to notice the amazing phenomena this pandemic actually was for us, because the amount of spiritual growth each and every one of us are going to go through in this process. Like Nick, for you, what are some of the things you feel as though you gained from this pandemic?
I feel like I've gained an appreciation. I feel like I gained a lot of self-respect
For?
for myself, just self-love, because I feel like I never had the opportunity, out of legit fear of being alone, to be alone and do that whole thing where, like, it sounds cliche, but when people find themselves, and they take a trip through Europe or something. I never did stuff like that because I don't like to be alone. And so I think it gave me an opportunity to sort of like be alone with my thoughts, be alone in my place, and I liked it before, but I always liked to have the option of not being alone. So it was like, oh, I can go home and close the door and be in my room. But I knew I could always not. So it wasn't as scary. So it forced me into that position. And so I was able to discover things about myself that I didn't know really existed before.
Yes. And that, as you call it, what you call it, what's the word you use?
Find yourself. Oh,
Not find yourself.
self-love, self-respect.
Yes. Whereas when we think about it, when we have experiences like this, it is a real great time to self-discover. Where we go through that whole process of really getting to know who we are on a deeper level, finding ourselves. Now for me with this pandemic, it's taught me a couple of things. It's taught me how to be patient, because patience is definitely required when, at this moment we're not doing it now, but I mean, in the very beginning of the pandemic, we literally had to wait outside of stores online to get inside the store. So that required a tremendous amount of patience. And then also just being patient to knowing that, eventually things will start to flow forward in a different direction. So being patient about it, and being more understanding to every individual, because again, we have no idea what each person is experiencing and feeling when they put on a mask. What that is actually doing for them on an emotional level by putting on a mask. Is it really creating anxieties for them where they feel like they can't breathe because they have a mask on? Or whatever post-traumatic stress they may be experiencing from something that might have happened to them that might trigger something from wearing a mask. So it's really given me a sense of having more understanding to people, and being more compassionate, during this time. Because again, like you said, Nick, the first time you get to do things on your own, and there's plenty of people out there who have anxiety because they are alone. And they're home, and they may not have family close by where they can't just get in their car and go drive to that family member. Their family member could be in a different state, country, whatever not, and they can't see them. So there's a lot we can learn from utilizing our solar plexus and trusting the process that we're exactly where we need to be. Our number is 3. In numerology, number 3 is a representation of what we are creating, what we are communicating, and what we are teaching. Because all of us here on this planet, on this earth, are students and teachers. We are all here to teach each other something, and we are all here to learn something from one another. And we can all really learn things from each other. Like I can't, as I mentioned before, I can't tell you how much I've learned from Nick over these last months about myself with the communication him and I have shared, and also I'm sure, I've taught him a lot as well. I'm sure it was sort of like a balance. Is that true for you, Nick?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So here, that 3 energy, when you think about it, what is it you're creating, or what is it you would like to create if you can step into trust in this process? And knowing that, yes, there is going to be life again. We are going to have life, and we're going to have life in a whole new way, in a whole new magical way when we think about that solar plex energy. So, Nick, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. And for all our viewers who are watching on YouTube, feel free to close your eyes as well, assuming you are not driving. And Nick, for this session, being that it is a one-on-one, what would you like to focus in for you today during this process of connecting onto the solar plexus and creating? What's your intention? And I ask all the viewers to do the same. Set an intention here.
I think something related to success in the new year, because I've really been sort of focused a lot on what's going to happen in 2021. I actually realized today that there's only 5 and 6 weeks left in the year.
Yes, I realized today that next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and so that's not a lot of time left, and I think we felt like 2021 was so far away for so long that, and I've always sort of felt like it was so long, so I never really had any plans or like thoughts beyond 2020. And now that it's like creeping up on us, and I know the holidays are coming, so I won't really have that much time to focus. I sort of want to set an intention for success and wellness in the new year.
Excellent. And the magical thing about Nick wanting to set the intention about success and wellness is, again, as our 3 indicates, we are the creator. We get to create whatever it is we want to have as our intention. So if your focus is success and wellness, you get to create it. You get to literally play it in your head, see it in your mind's eye, and then allow it to become your reality, because that's how magical and powerful we are. However, solar plex, or any other chakra for that matter, if any of those are sluggish, stuck, or blocked, that slows down the process of seeing that reality. So it's very important to make sure that we are doing things in our day to keep our chakras flowing. And one of the most important and fun things to do to keep our chakras flowing is movement, whether that be dancing, or, as I like to do, lifting weights, so you're really moving your body, as opposed to, let's say, just getting on a bicycle where you're just moving your legs, but you're not really moving your body. When we want to activate the chakras, we want to move everything. So dancing is a really great way to activate the chakras, so you're moving everything, opening up the energy. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale the breath, just allow yourself to let go of anything that does not serve you in this moment right now. I'd like you to take another deep breath in. And as you exhale this breath, I'd just like you to really visualize pulling your shoulders back so you can open up the chest and allow yourself to feel your breath throughout your body. And as you feel the breath throughout the body, perhaps you can even hear your heartbeat. And allow that breath to just gently flow down to your feet. As the breath flows down to your feet, again, allowing yourself to hear and feel your heartbeat down at your feet. It can almost feel like a thumping, a pulse. Become aware of your body. Become so still and quiet that you can literally feel and hear the pulse of your body. And now just very gently allow that pulse flowing from the toes to gently flow up your legs. Just feeling that thrumping, that sensation flowing up the legs, where you can feel the flow of energy moving up your legs, on up into your hips. You begin to feel that flow and energy moving into your root chakra, floating to the back of your spine. Activating the root chakra from the front and back. We can visualize this energy going in and going out. And if you like to set a color to it, set the color red to this energy. Just feeling this energy flowing in and out, where you can feel more supported and more balanced. And again, just visualizing that heartbeat down at the root chakra, right at your tailbone. And just allow that energy to gently flow up into the sacral. And again, just flowing in and out from your belly button to the back. In and out, expanding. And then feel that energy flowing on up into the solar plexus. The energy we are speaking about today, right in the belly. Allowing that yellow energy to activate from the front and back, where you can begin to feel this sense of security. You feel the sense of trust. a sense of protection. Where you feel safe. And just let that energy flow up into the heart. As you feel and hear your heart beating, allowing this energy to expand to the front and back of your heart. And then moving that energy up into your throat, where you allow this energy to literally take the knot from the throat. Unknotting the knot, where you activate the ears as well. You now hear things, feel things, and that energy flows up into your third eye. Begin to imagine a beautiful image of a third eye. Perhaps you can see that third eye opening. And as you're hearing and feeling, now you can see. Just follow that energy up into your crown. Begin to feel the pulse slightly at the top of your head. It's a very light pulse, nothing irritating. And just feel this energy expanding up 6 feet above you, connecting you to your higher self, all of your loved ones, your angels, archangels, spirit guides, ancestors. And in the space, take a moment to ask your higher self to begin to show you, as though it's a movie screen, where maybe you're actually sitting in the movie theater and in front of you is this huge movie screen, where you begin to see the success and the wellness. Listening to what your higher self has to offer you. Just being in the space, as there will be about 5 minutes of silence, where you can just focus in on your spirit guides and the message that they have for you. I will mind the time and bring you back in 5 minutes. And just take a breath here. And just slowly exhale the breath. And in this moment, just take a moment to thank your higher self, your guides, archangels, loved ones, and any ancestors who showed up, providing you some wisdom. And know that whatever you've seen on the beautiful screen, in your conscious world, you will remember whatever it is you need to know in this moment. I'd like you to begin to visualize your 7 energies. I'd like you to begin to see a beautiful yellow light all around you. As you visualize the yellow light all around you, I'd like you to visualize the 7 energies as small little wheels where they begin to turn clockwise. And as the wheels turn clockwise, I'd like you to begin to sense, touch, and feel the energy of these wheels, as this energy is representing the flow of life. As you feel the energy flowing from within, this is a representation of your life flowing externally. Always know that as the energy flows within, the energy flows out. When things are not flowing on the external, it's always a good idea to check on the within. I'd like you to visualize that beautiful yellow light that's all around you, slowly changing to a beautiful white light. Once you can see that white light, I'd like you to bring your hands in prayer position over your heart center. We're going to slowly begin to rub the hands up and down very gently. And very slowly, just begin to separate the hands where you can feel the energy flowing from one hand to the other, continuing to stay focused in on those beautiful wheels turning energetically. And then allowing your hands to go a little bit wider, feeling the energy flow from one hand to the other. And then very gently, you're going to be placing both hands, one hand actually, left hand on the heart center, right hand on the solar plexus, which is the energy we are working on. And just allow this energy known as Reiki healing to allow the energy to flow however it needs to flow, wherever it needs to flow in the body. As Reiki energy goes wherever it needs to go, it's an effortless healing modality. And just be in this moment of allowing yourself to receive self-healing. And if there's any place on your body that needs additional healing, feel free to just visualize the energy going to that center. And if you'd like to focus on a color, you could take that yellow energy down into that area and just visualize the energy flowing back and forth as though someone's giving you a massage. Just being in this space for another minute or two. Now I would like you to take both hands. You're going to bring them right over your chest center. Just about your fingertips on the center outside of your chest. And you're going to just tap your fingers slightly. Just banging on the chest, activating the energy. This is an ancient healing technique to open up the energy from within. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring both hands into what we call the thymus, which is slightly above the heart and right below the throat, which is activating the immune system. So we're going to tap on that. And then very gently bringing our hands back into prayer position. Just take a moment to visualize that beautiful white light. Visualizing the white light from the top of your head to the crown. And that white light slowly flowing down to your feet. And the white light coming from the feet, coming back up to the crown. And back down to the feet. And just visualize this energy just flowing up and down, activating your energy, balancing your yin and yang, bringing balance to both your root and your crown. And then gently just rest your hands back down to your lap, where you begin to feel your energy moving back into your body. As your energy comes back to your body, begin to physically wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers, coming back mentally, coming back emotionally, where you can hear the sounds in your room, and with your eyes still closed, you can see the light in the room. And when you're ready, very slowly begin to open your eyes and just allow yourself to look around to see things differently, perhaps. And if you have some water, feel free to take a sip or two. Okay, hopefully everybody's back with us. So Nick, how was that for you?
Good. It was good. It felt like full circle because I did it something similar to this morning.
Yes, yes. And normally during our 11-11, I always ask how we are feeling on an emotional level 1 to 10. Did not do that beginning. How are you feeling now?
About a 9.
Awesome, awesome. So this is a great way to end the night and to be able to go to sleep comfortably. So
Yeah.
would you like to share a little bit more about what you experienced in the meditation?
There was a lot of colors and sunny vistas that I saw, like a sunrise, sunshine on a beach, like summer and fall and spring scenic scenes. So it was just, I think it was more just my subconscious trying to find relaxing thoughts.
Mm. Were you able to see anything that represented your success and wellness?
Wellness, definitely.
Yes. Also, what I get to for you regarding seeing the sunsets and being able to relax, maybe what it basically is, and then what it might be saying to you is that maybe it's not so much about having to do anything intensely to have success.
Yeah.
Maybe it's really about learning how to relax into success.
Mm-hmm.
So, how's that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things where it's like you're on your way. You just have to, keep the focus.
Exactly. And again, we are the creator. So if you want to create success, all you have to do is begin to visualize what success is. And also want to bring to the table that what success might be for you may not necessarily be success for somebody else. We all have a different definition of what success is. For you, Nick, what is success?
It's there's a couple of things. I mean, one is stability financially and socially, some sort of stability, and also, it sounds a little narcissistic, but recognition. That
Okay.
that you've done something.
Okay. I like that. For me, what success is setting out a plan to do something and seeing it through. Is success. It doesn't have to be wrapped up in a specific career or whatever, not or some sort of fame, but setting a goal to say this is what I'm doing and seeing it through that it actually gets done. That's success for me. And like I said, success for everybody could be very different.
Yeah.
Success for somebody could be having $1 million in their bank account, and that's successful for them. Success for somebody else could be getting up out of bed one morning and saying, wow, I actually got out of bed.
Yeah.
I had a successful day. So success does not have to be this overwhelming big thing. It's what success is for each and every one of us. And again, as our card says, learning to listen and learning to be truthful to yourself. Because when we get to that place of being truthful, authentic, then we really open up our energies to being successful. We'll use your word tonight, Nick. So for all of our viewers, really focusing on your solar plex, activating the solar plex. Our solar plex is basically, literally, when we think about the solar plex, is how we digest life. And if we are not digesting what's going on in the world collectively, we start to literally bring it up. It shows up as like acid reflux, literally speaking, because you're not digesting life. So ask yourself about whatever it is you feel you're not digesting in this time. How can you digest it a little more easily so you can start to trust the process of we're exactly where we need to be, and that use this time, that if you do have a little extra time on your schedule because you're not working as many hours or you're not traveling to get to work, use this time to your most highest good and do the things that you would probably not have the time to do, Because there will come a time in 2021 where you're not going to have this time because we're going to be busy.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of momentum going on. As soon as I like to actually say that momentum is going to go on as soon as that clock strikes 12 on December 31st. But I actually think we're going to really start to feel that momentum going on in December. That once we move into December's energy, we're going to start to feel a lot of momentum pushing through. So use the remaining of these next 2 weeks for the time that you have and enjoy it. So for all our viewers, if you have questions or comments or you wish to share your meditation experience with us, feel free to email healingwithin76@gmail.com. And most often Mondays, we are here at 11 p.m. Eastern time, as opposed to the time that we showed up tonight. But we showed up, and that's the key. So for all our viewers, thank you for being here. Nick and I are going to disconnect the recording, and we're going to keep chatting. So have a great night, guys.
All right. Good night.